Most people believe that eating more frequently keeps the body healthy, energized, and efficient. But what if that advice isn't always true? What if your constant snacking is preventing your body from activating one of its oldest survival systems? The truth is that your body behaves very differently when food stops arriving. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time your digestive system truly rested? Not for 2 hours. Not between breakfast and lunch. I'm talking about an extended break. For many people, the answer is never. And that may be affecting much more than their waistline. I recently heard about a man in his early 60s who complained about feeling tired all day. He ate breakfast, grabbed a mid-morning snack, had lunch, drank sweet coffee in the afternoon, ate dinner, and then finished the night with dessert. He wasn't starving, yet he constantly felt exhausted. His first assumption was that he needed more food. But his doctor asked a different question. What if the problem wasn't a lack of calories? What if the problem was that his body never had a chance to switch into repair mode? As physicians and metabolic health specialists have learned more about fasting, one pattern has become impossible to ignore. The human body wasn't designed to digest food around the clock. It evolved during periods of eating and periods of going without food. Today, we're exploring what happens when you eat only once a day. But we're not focusing on dieting trends. We're focusing on biology. We'll follow your body through an entire fasting cycle and discover why so many people report unexpected changes in their energy, appetite, and metabolism. Before we begin, let's be clear. Eating once a day isn't a magic solution. It's not appropriate for everyone. But understanding what happens during a prolonged fasting window can completely change the way you think about food. The first major change involves blood sugar. Every time you eat carbohydrates, your blood glucose rises. That's normal. Your pancreas releases insulin to move that sugar into cells. The hidden problem appears when insulin remains elevated throughout the entire day. Why does this matter? Because insulin doesn't simply manage sugar. It also sends a message that says, store energy. Studies have repeatedly linked chronically elevated insulin to weight gain and metabolic dysfunction. Many people think they're burning fat all day when their biology says otherwise. Imagine two people consuming the same number of calories. One person eats continuously, the other eats within a short window. Their bodies may process those calories very differently. A safer approach is to reduce eating frequency gradually rather than eliminating meals overnight. Here's something surprising. Hunger doesn't always increase during a longer fast. In many cases, it becomes more predictable. That's because hunger isn't simply an empty stomach. It's heavily influenced by hormones, routines, habits, and even the clock. People often experience hunger at the exact time they normally eat, even when their bodies don't actually need fuel. Researchers have found that hunger hormones rise and fall in waves. The hidden risk is assuming every hunger signal represents an emergency. Have you ever skipped lunch because you were busy, only to discover that your hunger disappeared after 30 minutes? That's because appetite often comes in cycles. A practical alternative is to delay one meal by an hour and observe how your body responds. Around the middle of an extended fast, another remarkable transition begins. Your liver starts producing ketones from stored fat. These compounds become an alternative energy source, especially for the brain. Why does your body do this? Because survival depends on adaptation. If humans became weak and confused whenever food disappeared, our ancestors wouldn't have survived. Instead, the brain developed backup systems to maintain performance during periods of food scarcity. Many people describe improved concentration after adapting to fasting. Others experience the opposite during the first few days. That's the hidden risk. Switching fuels takes time. A safer option is allowing your body to adapt slowly instead of forcing dramatic dietary changes. This brings us to one of the most fascinating topics in modern health science: cellular housekeeping. Your cells continuously create waste products. Damaged proteins accumulate. Old cellular components wear out. Under certain conditions, the body begins breaking down and recycling some of this material. Scientists call this process autophagy. It literally means self-eating. But don't let the name scare you. This isn't your body destroying itself. It's your body reorganizing and recycling. Researchers continue studying how fasting influences this process and how it may affect healthy aging. The hidden risk is misunderstanding the science. Some people believe fasting automatically guarantees anti-aging benefits. That's an exaggeration. Autophagy is complex and influenced by many factors. A better strategy is viewing fasting as one possible tool rather than a miracle cure. After spending most of the day without food, your body becomes extremely responsive to nutrients. This creates an important question. What happens if your only meal consists of highly processed foods, sugary drinks, and refined carbohydrates? The answer is simple. You miss a major opportunity. Your body needs protein for repair, healthy fats for hormones, vitamins for countless biochemical reactions, and fiber to support the digestive system. One meal has to work much harder than 3. Picture 2 dinner plates. One contains fried fast food and soda. The other includes fish, vegetables, olive oil, beans, and fruit. Both may satisfy hunger, but they deliver very different messages to your metabolism. Constant digestion requires enormous energy. Every meal activates enzymes, hormones, muscle contractions, and chemical reactions. A longer fasting period gives your digestive system a chance to slow down. This doesn't mean your gut completely shuts down. But many people report less bloating and improved digestive comfort after shortening their eating window. The hidden risk is assuming that digestive symptoms automatically require less food. Sometimes they require different food. Let me ask you something. When do you feel your best? Immediately after eating? 3 hours later? Early in the morning before breakfast? Pay attention to your answer because it may reveal more about your metabolism than you realize. If you're curious about eating once a day, don't start tomorrow by eliminating 2 meals. Instead, ask your doctor several important questions. Are you taking medications that require food? Do you have diabetes? How will fasting affect your current health conditions? Begin with a 12-hour eating window, then extend it gradually. Stay hydrated. Prioritize sleep. Increase protein intake. Monitor your energy levels. Small adjustments are much more sustainable than dramatic transformations. The encouraging news is that modern nutrition no longer follows a one-size-fits-all model. Some people thrive on 3 meals. Others prefer 2. Some respond well to intermittent fasting. The goal isn't to follow trends. The goal is to discover what works for your body. Remember the man who constantly felt exhausted? He didn't switch to 1 meal overnight. Instead, he gradually shortened his eating window, improved food quality, and reduced unnecessary snacking. Several months later, he reported something he hadn't experienced in years: stable energy. Here's a thought I want you to remember. Hunger is not always a crisis. Sometimes it's simply a conversation between you and your biology. Today, we learned how eating once a day may influence blood sugar, appetite, brain function, cellular repair, nutrition, and digestion. If you've ever experimented with fasting, share your experience in the comments. And remember, this video is for educational purposes only and should never replace personalized medical advice from your healthcare provider.